So the Green Bay Packers have fired Mike McCarthy, and now we get into the fractured relationship between he and star quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Robert Littal is here, CEO of Black Sports Online. So here we go via Sports Illustrated. Former Packers receiver Greg Jennings told Colin Cowherd in November that Rodgers would needle Mike McCarthy about Alex Smith's #1 selection. McCarthy, of course, worked in San Francisco in that regime. So McCarthy, like Rodgers, an alpha male. With the two, familiar with the two, when asked to describe their relationship, most say it is defined by tension. Yes, tension. McCarthy is the play caller, but because Rodgers is so intelligent, which he totally is, the quarterback has the green light to change plays on the field. He does so often that it can be hard for McCarthy to get into a rhythm as the play caller. McCarthy might call the same play 3 times in a game without the play actually being run as he called it. And if McCarthy calls a play that Rodgers doesn't like early in the game, that can sour the mood for the rest of the game. Several sources familiar with the inner workings of the organization say that it devolved into a competition over who can call the better play. You gotta be kidding me. So Aaron Rodgers went on the record saying it was as bad as we played on offense with that many yards in a long game in a long time against the Bills on September 30th. There was no flow to the game. We were championship defensive level and non-playoff team offensive level. That was not great by any stretch of the imagination. A source told Sports Illustrated, Aaron won't be upset if the story is being written and some of these frustrations are getting out there. Interesting. After taking a sack late in the third quarter, Rodgers looked to the sideline and he went to Mike McCarthy, stupid bleeping call, and then said it again, stupid bleeping call. And lastly, maybe it's their personalities is what Booger McFarland said, but to me, I find it very unusual that you get two people who really enjoy working together and enjoy being around each other, but you can't sense or see that they do. I sense that from either Aaron, or I didn't sense that from either Aaron or Coach. So your overall thoughts?
Well, it reminds me a little bit of Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren.
Yeah.
You know, Favre used to drive him crazy. Same type of thing. It's funny. It's like history repeating itself. But if Aaron Rodgers is, we're talking Brady Breeze type of level of quarterback. If he's not, lock and key with the coach, it's always going to be the coach that doesn't last long.
So, how I view this is, Mike McCarthy was given a very long leash. He had many flubs in playoff games and even regular season games. You could say the 4th and 2 punt call this past year on prime time, bad. Of course you knew Seattle was gonna score. How about in the playoffs with his time management? Bad. So I think, although it is uncharacteristic for the Green Bay Packers to fire any head coach in season, this is the first time it's happened since like the 50s or 60s, right? It never happens. I think what we're seeing here is that Mike McCarthy was given Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. And not only did you only win 1 Super Bowl, but you kept finding ways to lose instead of enhancing how good of a player you had at the most important position in all of football, but also the teams that you had, and you still faltered. So, and lastly, to say that it caught him by surprise, and we were talking about this a little bit, like caught Fred Hoiberg by surprise, it caught Mike McCarthy by surprise. You know what was more surprising? Giving Mike McCarthy even more years than he probably deserved, because the writing was on the wall 3 years ago already that he wasn't going to get to another Super Bowl. When you have this sort of talent, you listen to him. So at this point in time, what would you rather do? Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers be frustrated with the organization, leave, and then you go sign another Matt freaking Flynn? Or do you say, hey, who do you think you would gel with the best? Because that's clearly the biggest problem on this team.
And see, I think that's the big question. Aaron Rodgers is so big now, and he basically now runs the Packers. What coach can you bring in that he is going to respect? And if that coach says, hey, you're going to run this play, that he's going to be like, okay, I feel like it's, I can trust this guy. There's only a hand, it's not like say the Rams, they had basically a rookie quarterback. So you can bring in a young guy and they're going to all listen to him because he connects to them. Aaron Rodgers that would be like if Belichick left, Brady. Who could you bring in at that point that he would respect? And I think that's a problem that the Packers may have in finding a head coach.
I think we can also call it for what it is. And my example being, do you remember when the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Do you remember who the head coach was?
No.
It was Peyton Manning.
Sure.
It was Gary Kubiak who was the head coach. Right. But we all know who was running stuff and who knew the offense better than most head coaches can. it was Peyton Manning. That's totally fine to do this with the Green Bay Packers. It is completely fine to turn over the offense to him because look, it seems like if you have head coach and quarterback on the same page, it'll be better than this, and you won't be undervaluing yourself as a team.
Well, I will say this: it's now on Aaron Rodgers because basically he's going to be able to choose his own head coach.
We think.
He is. And then if they don't succeed or it continues to go down, maybe it wasn't McCarthy. Maybe it was Rodgers.
Let us know your thoughts. Comment section below.
You know what's my favorite song? You could ring my bell. So do it, why don't you? Ring the damn bell. And download the TYT app. Available on Android and iOS.